What is up, bros? Josh here. In today's video, we're bringing you some fun Lightning gameplay. And if you guys have been following on my Twitch streams, twitch.tv/mejosh, we have been doing a free-to-play challenge. A challenge where we are going all the way to tier 10 without spending a dime on the game and trying to do a whole series. I'll put a link down below to the series if you want to check it out. It's been a lot of fun so far, and we are all the way up to the tier 8, but we're trying to get all the way to tier 10 without spending a dime on the game, showing all the tips and tricks to stay free to play if you want to, and if you didn't know, some nice tips and tricks to stay free to play, or at least try to go free to play, because there's lots of cool goodies in this game. But we did get to one of my favorite destroyers in this entire game as we were going up the Royal Navy destroyer line. By far my favorite destroyer line in this game. I love how they play, and particularly one of the strongest on this line is the tier 8 Lightning. A very strong line overall, but this one is insanely good, and in this game we had a lot of fun. But as we get into this game, one thing that we see is it is a CV game in a only 2 destroyer game, so that means we are going to run against some planes, but don't worry, in the end we do get some revenge on that CV. Spoiler alert, but let's get into the rest of the game. And this ship with such a low detection is something I love. I love using the detection, low detection. It's good guns, it's good torps, it's just good overall. I love the Royal Navy smoke. And what we're doing right now is we quickly broke down the team, saw there was only 1 cruiser with radar, so we played this pretty aggressively. And we kind of pushed this line as we have radio location and their enemy destroyer doesn't. So I tried to put, I thought he might have been rotating in through this way, but he actually rotated in that way. And we were able to actually get a nice little spot on this destroyer. Now we do have to be a little careful now with the introduction of the pan-European destroyers. They do add a whole nother kind of scariness to early torps, but as you see, I'm kind of shutting off his ability to torp me with my angles with this island to my left right here. So really we're kind of able there, and luckily he's just not shooting back. Now, one of the scary things about pan-European destroyers is their inability to smoke up, so he got super aggressive, actually way too aggressive. He assumed that there would be no destroyer or planes here. Pretty big misplay in my opinion, although he is just going to briefly get away, and a little bit of a bummer. I missed this salvo right here. Again, I figured he didn't have any spot on that. So a little unlucky there. If that Baltimore would have popped that salvo, that would have been kind of nice if he would have radared there as well. We had a Hipper and a Bismarck if we would have had a couple more thousand damage on that. But already 11k damage into a DD. Pretty good start. Anytime you can do that, especially with me taking 0 damage. And really, we actually just, with that radar too, we're able to find out where the destroyers are. But it does come back to bite us in the butt a little bit, because I should have actually gone after and chased those DDs. I thought that maybe the Baltimore radaring right there would have been useful, or CV knowing where they are. I wish I would have kind of gone after that, especially with the Orland only having 240 life. Trust me, he kind of just lives for a while. Unluckily, our CV, instead of going for you know, just finishing off the DD with more rockets, they continue to basically throw in just some torps on them and kind of waste some time. 1 rocket strike would have easily had it. Torps, although not the strongest thing against it, if you would have just done 1 rocket strike there, he would have been just fine. So we're just going to focus on these DDs. Now we know where both the destroyers are too, so I'm figuring I'm okay to just kind of farm for a bit. We have a pretty good start. Our CV seems to have this in the bag a little bit. Our other side has some pretty nasty ships that they have to push into with a DD over there. Even though the Cleveland's pushing in, we do have some battleships as well. And right now our side is fairly strong, so I thought maybe we'd have some time to just farm a little bit of damage, and also a couple battleships right here just hanging out. I might be able to get some good damage in, so we can kind of let the cap go there. So as you see, our CV continuing to just kind of pick on these EDs, or at least going there. I figured that our CV would kind of have this in the bag, at least maybe getting 1 DD kill, especially on the Orland, which is super low. But again, not so lucky, and we're just kind of hanging. But there's a Bismarck, it's stock. I might as well just start farming. Plenty of things are going to spot it too, so I will definitely take that. And the closest thing we have right next to me is this Amagi, so we are good to basically just sit and smoke and not really worry about another DD. Now the Orland could potentially come back and maybe torp me. That's why I kind of stayed moving a little bit. But I figured he wouldn't kind of rotate this way, and the Bismarck is there, and we're getting really good RNG on these torps. But again, it's kind of just a slow start. We had a really good advantage early, so every time I'm going into a DD, since the Royal Navy line is so good, destroyer versus destroyer, I'm feeling really comfortable. When I'm in a Lightning, I am never worried about a Kagero, ever. This ship is just so much stronger than the Kagero, especially in 1v1. You counter basically everything the Kagero has. Now, if the Kagero is full life and I have like 3k, yeah, I'm a little worried about the Kagero. But full life versus full life, I am never worried about a Kagero in this ship at all, ever. There's just no way you really lose that fight 1v1. Even if you, I mean, you literally have to take the torp with a ship that has Hydro to protect you from taking torp. So I wouldn't say Kagero is in a tough spot against this, and obviously an Erlen is going to be able to heal up a little bit with those heals. So he's definitely going to get maybe up to 3,000 more life. Again, going against that, I'm not too worried, and going against Kagero, I'm not too worried. But we'll take down this Bismarck right here. My whole thought process is, hey, our CV is at least semi-keeping an idea of what's going on with these DDs, at least has an idea of what's kind of going on. He had a nice little drop early, so I figured I could count on him for a little bit. And then we see the kill feed start to feed up with a couple of our ships. So that kind of goes, okay, a little bit of a bummer. We lost a ship first blood, and then he ended up getting a devastating strike. So double back-to-back devastating strikes, very, very bad. So that means I need to the farm is over. It's time to start taking over caps. So, and as you can see, the other side went from being super, super strong and being able to hold that to now being in a very rough spot. As you see, our Turpits actually YOLO'd around. I think it was a Turpits. No, that was the Bismarck. The Bismarck rotated around and just charged in, I believe, to the Turpits, and was able... Oh, no, he actually went over to the cruiser, and then he got dev struck. So that is how that side went. So we had a YOLOing Bismarck. Now we have a cruiser that's going down. Now we have... I think we lost 2 cruisers so far. So it's getting to be a pretty bad spot. But what ends up happening, or what you can actually do when you do get into a situation where you are losing some ships, is just start putting pressure on caps, which is exactly what I'm doing. As you see, I went all the way through this cap, which these guys were able to cap. These guys are really healthy behind me too, so I'm just going to go, okay, I can't let these, I can't chase these guys. I have to put pressure on these destroyers, and so that's what we're just going to do. We're going to start putting pressure on these guys, and that's honestly the only way we're going to have a chance to really do this is if I can potentially kill both these ZDs, take the other cap, and then we get some decent trades. But they have some nasty ships left, and dealing with destroyers, very easy for the Lightning. Dealing with battleships, actually not too bad. The Royal Navy destroyers do pretty well, but dealing with cruisers, that's a whole nother story. Definitely when you are a DD, it can be pretty tough. But when you are a destroyer like this, you have the small smokes. If things are spotting them, you can actually deal with them quite well. But cruisers versus, or DDs versus cruisers is bad. We do see that the Mogami is fairly low, but the other 2 cruisers I believe are fairly healthy. And we see a Kagero going full speed towards our Shokaku. Now, I had put faith in our Shokaku that he was going to stick on these DDs. And I'm going, you know what? I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to try to stop this Kagero. And at least if we keep our CV, we have a CV for the rest of the game. And potentially he can get some easy kills. Again, he had a big drop on the Orland early. So I'm like, all right, I'll try to help you out, guy. You gotta pay me back, though. So we're going to have to go in here and see what we can. Now, this was pretty crazy. Whenever a DD, especially IGN destroyers, gets into a spot where they can get a CV, everyone's licking their chops. And I imagine this was just going to be easy peasy for him to just rotate in. He got so close. But the Camelus idea, the Camelus came into it, and I'm like, okay, I might actually have a chance. And I'm like, all right, Camelus IGN destroyer may not have last stand. I got lucky, knocked out his propulsion, but it seems like he does have last stand. And I'm like, man, this kind of sucks though. He's gonna still get this kill on my CV. And then we ended up getting some pretty good damage on him. Even some damage came in against that. And again, my Hydro's still going. Another Hydro getting knocked out. Turpit's throwing in a little bit of damage on him. And then the downtown from the Monarch. And what ended up happening is he put the torps on me instead of the CV, because I'm assuming he had torp reload, and we actually saved our CV with full life. I took a couple thousand damage from this cruiser, and we couldn't have asked for a better kind of trade-off there. than that was. It was amazing, and we actually saved our CV from a YOLOing Kagero. Shout out to that Kagero for focusing me and not the CV. I couldn't believe he do it. So he probably had the reload but was waiting for that. And then the Monarch hit a Hail Mary shot on him, and that was just awesome. I remember I was freaking out about it on stream. So pretty clutch there. We're still in a really bad spot though. We are down a little bit. Well, we do have a chance here, but still not in the best spot. As you see, our North Carolina is rotating north into a whole bunch of ships. It means he's basically throwing away his ship. Bismarck is going to be right behind him, so that means we are down 2 battleships for doing basically nothing. But we do have our Tirpitz that's fairly low. We have our Ogdenvoy that's down here. We have, you know, there's some potential. And what I'm trying to do is maybe get this cruiser to push into me. Now, I know he does have radar. I'm willing to trade some life, but I need him to get a little bit closer. So that's kind of what I did. I posted up saying, hey, if he's not going to, you know, if he's not going to radar me, I'll just farm some damage on him because he's fairly lightly armored. But really, I'm trying to bait him into getting closer to me. And we were actually quite lucky able to do that. We pumped 15k on a torp, and then our CV that we saved, get a nice big salvo on him. So 5k from him, 15k from me, and just like that, a full life radar cruiser, 100 to 0'd in just a matter of seconds, really. And this was a big turning point when it came to that. And actually, I realized that a couple of these kills, I could actually had a lot more. Now, still, we're not completely out of it, but the CV has bailed me out. I bailed him out. He's bailed me out from a little bit of damage. Actually on that, so this has been a pretty good partnership. And now we have a Tirpitz here, but the thing is our Tirpitz takes out that. Unluckily, our Tirpitz wasn't able to get torps on him because it would have saved us some time. However, though, we have an Ogdenvoy that is south, so he's going to be able to spot. And again, like I said, Lightning, Royal Navy destroyers are really good with dealing DDs, fairly good at dealing with battleships, and we're going to be able to do that. We have torps, we have the guns, trying to aim for the back to get another. That I was kind of hoping that this guy would repair the single fire, and we can only get so lucky, and luckily our Ogdenvoy ended up getting a torp, so it knocked him down even a little bit more. And we're trying to spread the love on these damage. So we have the Mogami. So even though we're down points, it's not the worst. Things are starting to line up here. I was hoping that Mogami would maybe stay a little bit there, and a little bit more broadside would have done some more damage. And the Tirpitz here, again, one of the worst feelings you can get as a DD is if you're going against a battleship and they start to heal. And again, I thought he was going to repair the one fire. I was like, oh, nice, he's dead. And then he ended up getting the repaired that. But again, if we can get one more fire on him, he's actually dead from that. So his repair, I think, is over. So again, one fire here is super clutch. But we're going to be trading some life because we're 8 kilometers away from a Mogami. And I'm like, this is going to suck. As Mogami's hit really hard. We got pretty... And there's the fire, so we know the Tirpitz is going to go down, which is super good. And again, Royal Navy, I love this line. So freaking strong with these short smokes. We're able to get that Tirpitz down as he goes down right there. Last tick. There we go. Second kill in the game. And let's start dealing with some of these cruisers. So Mogami is getting hit. And actually the CV is dropping in too. Again, the CV we saved. And as you can see, basically what I called the Bismarck YOLO'd into too many ships. North Carolina's on his way too. And so this has been an up and down battle. But again, Cleveland is a 9-kilometer radaring ship. And Baltimore goes down. And it's right now it's a race against time. This is seriously just, we have to outkill them. I'm not doing very well. We do end up getting a kill on that guy. CV's trying to do whatever he can to me. But, you know, once everybody knows, why go for the destroyer that's doing all the work when you could get damage on that? So shout out to their CV, just focusing on that guy. I'm actually winning this. I think the Cleveland even gives up on me because, of course, he sees the CV, because you have to kill the CV. That's the only way you can do it. And me and my buddy CV right here will work on killing this Cleveland. A nice little drop right there, and I can just stay on him again. Them wasting shots on the CV is actually keeping us in the game because I only had 6k life anyway, and the faster I can get him. Now, I might have been able to do a little bit more damage here with AP since he's sailing so broadside, but at this point, I'm going just for the guaranteed damage. And really, this was worked out perfect. The CV distraction was 200 IQ. Cleveland is getting wrecked. And Ogdevoy ends up getting the Mogami as well with the Torp, and right like that, we're back in this game. So we're going to see some hilarity ensue right here because our poor Ogdevoy tried so hard, and this is one thing why I start to preach the one set of Torps and holding the second set. This Ogdevoy, who is within kilometers of this Kaga, completely whips them all, and the worst feeling you can get. And again, as this game has gone, we literally can't just take the lead for a bit. Every time we slowly start, clawing back into this game, we lose 2 ships. It's been like that all freaking game. So that's why I always preach, dump one set of Torps and then hold it, especially if you're going to go for a YOLO, if you would have just done that. And I actually thought this guy maybe would have gone a little bit faster in, and I'm like, okay, awesome, CV's gonna push in, he's gonna rocket me, I'm screwed, 6,600 life, more than I should have, but the Cleveland stopped shooting at me. Just a super brutal situation. Ended up not really hitting me. I think he hit only my guns, and I'm like, okay, maybe we can actually kill this guy pretty quick, but we end up having, he actually ends up stopping at the right spot, and I actually have to go hunting for a CV. But like I said earlier, we will get our revenge. We will get our revenge in the end. And as you see, he stops perfectly right here. I was hoping that maybe the battleship would just wreck him and I could start focusing on other things, but we have to go spot him. We just have to. Again, the DD is still north. Our CV is going for the Bismarck. I'm like, okay, CV, bud, you got it. You can get that. We need to buy a kill, and their CV is there. Again, I'm not super worried about Kaga Torps. I'm not super worried about Kaga dive bombers. Rockets, though, are pretty nasty, and we're just going to keep our AA on right here. There's no reason not to. And, hey, we lit the CV on fire. That means he can't launch planes. Throwback to the old days. And there's a double fire right there, but you can do so much damage to a Kaga just because it's so tall. And there comes the rocket planes. So, again, we're just kind of chilling. We don't really have to worry about that. We don't want to be the second close quarter combat. So, again, we're right back into it. But we only have 2.5 minutes left in this game. And their Amagi is fairly strong, and our Hipper is potentially going to YOLO. The Erland, we don't know where he is, which is a bit of a bummer. The Monarch could easily get blasted off the planet from this Amagi. But I do know, and as I just pleaded these guys, I said, please don't die. But we have so much that really we just don't need to die. I can just go on to CCAP. Like, if our Hipper would have just ran away, it would have been fine. He actually gets way, way, way too close, and this kind of gets sneaky on me. He tries to get a Torp on me. Oh, I didn't quite appreciate that. And I was actually a little too calm here. I thought I was going to take this Torp for a second. I was like, oh, no. But I figured it would be fairly easy for us just to win this game, assuming our Hipper doesn't YOLO. But then our Hipper starts to YOLO, and so super bummer there, because all I do is go on CCAP. We get a couple of ticks, and then we're good to go. But awesome shot. Our Monarch got compliments this game. Awesome shot from our Monarch. Absolutely blasts this Amagi, gets him down to 10k. But I'm not going to shoot yet. I only have 66k, or 6,600 life. I don't want to risk getting one shot by this Amagi. So, again, I'm just going to go on to CCAP, and we stop their cap. That's the plan, because that'll give us enough ticks. But our Hipper is still doing it. So I start getting a little worried here. I'm starting to weigh, okay, if our Hipper dies, are we going to be okay? He has 8,000 life. He has 15k. Just a couple full pens, and he's dead. It's that simple. And so we're pretty much full guns at this point, especially because we have a little bit more. And the Amagi is going there, and it's so freaking close. He's on fire, though, and he is burning. So that is an awesome little scenario here. But again, I'm just doing the math. We need to get a little bit here, a little bit there, and I'm looking at that 5,800 life. Are we going to be all right? Are we going to be all right? Because if it's a swing one way or the other, we get the kill there, and it's going to be all right. We ended up winning this game. If the Hipper would have died even after, it would have been fine. The Erland would have been right there. I would have been able to kill him anyways, because he wouldn't have been able to go dark. Probably would have killed him on that salvo. But an up and down game, and man, I've been really enjoying this ship. It's a, quote unquote, it's a grind, but when you're playing a ship you really enjoy. Is it really a grind in the end? And overall, a really fun game. We got the Kraken, we got the Confederate, and it was a roller coaster of a game. But overall, just a lot of fun. we're able to kind of deal with everything and just kind of show the strength of this ship. But yeah, we are doing our free-to-play challenge, so we are doing this all live on stream, twitch.tv/mejash. Come check us out when we are live, and we are at the tier 8. We're almost up to the tier 9 already, and we're kind of every day just going over some new tips and tricks on how to get some freebies in this game. As you see in the bottom there, we have some combat missions with the campaigns. Those are worth so much, as well as the event that's going on too. But this is just one of my favorite ships in the game. Had a really good game in it and thought it would be a fun video for you guys to kind of check out and break down what I was thinking. But anyways, that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.